Boom. There we go, boys. I was wondering where I was. Yo. What's up, homies? Still feeling a bit under the weather, but I said, fuck it, we're coming out swinging. We're going to be hanging out. I kind of advertised this a little while ago. I don't know how many of y'all watch Game Theories, okay? And good old MatPat's got quite the record in history in terms of producing content and things along those lines. And it, like, at first I posted some stuff inside my like Discord about like MatPat and like game theory and stuff, and I had no idea how charged everybody really was, like about MatPat, dude. Holy cow! Like genuinely. Okay. Alright. Finishing posting up everything over here. And I'm gonna have to hold up. I have to move my mic a little bit further over so I can still see the old chat, boys and girls. Yeah. All right, but what do you guys think? What do you think is going to be popping off with this action, huh? What are you guys going to think is going to be popping off with, like, good old MatPat, okay? My history of MatPat has been pretty, kind of up in the air, I'll admit. It's been kind of strange, I'll agree. I really value sometimes his input and, like, looking into things, but sometimes I do feel like he does leave some key things out just to make, like, a really cool theory. I think, my primest example of that was like the Hollow Knight stuff. The Hollow Knight stuff was pretty rough for me because as a guy who really liked Hollow Knight and played a fuck ton of Hollow Knight and was big into the lore, but like, I don't know, man. When you leave out like the biggest cutscene in the game of like lore material, that does feel weird. So I'm really hoping we actually pull a W here. Okay. Really hoping. And actually, you know what? I'm gonna have to move this shit up here so I'm not messing with these subtitles. Boom, there we go. That'll have to do. I'm gonna slide the section over. Boom, there we go. That way we got clear view. I don't want to be messing with nothing in terms of the visuals here. I want everyone to be able to see this shit. Yo, what's up, Forgotten One? We're kind of chilling for the moment. Going to be covering some of the newest film theory, the last one on superheroes out of anything he's done. So it's going good, bro. We're just kind of hanging out. Still a little bit under the weather, but I'm making it work. I said, fuck it. I'm under the weather, but I can't let the homies down, man. I can't do it. Prime example of Discord being wonky right there. Let's go. But spread the word, homies. Send some people to the stream, wherever you be. And back to the point over here with good old MatPat, man. I think MatPat gets a lot of hate. Because a lot of what he does is entertainment. He's just like making up theories and stuff at the end of the day. No hate towards the guy or anything along those lines. I think that once you acknowledge that, much like in a lot of other fields, I feel like once you realize that everybody just has narratives, and like once you like define that person's narrative for yourself, it's really easy for you to kind of dictate like and kind of understand a lot of what their actions are going to be, right? Or to just not be impacted by like feeling betrayed or whatever the case, if somebody doesn't do things up to par or whatever the case may be. Like, if they're known for not necessarily 100ing something, then it is what it is, right? Like, just let it go. Holy shit. or to just... Okay, we actually are popping off. Yo, that was loud as hell, too. Yo, my mic is like fucking god tier, apparently. I'm gonna turn this shit down. Yo, yo. Okay, I'm not blowing up red every time, so that's good. Let me know in chat if that's a little bit better. But I think I'm gonna start this bad boy. What do you guys think? I'm just chilling here. I cooked me up some ramen, boys. I'm crushing it. Got some chicken ramen over here. I'm slamming since I'm a little bit under the weather. And we're gonna make this film theory episode happen, man. Mark says his Pokemon theories make no sense. So something I will say about MatPat is that, like, we were actually talking about this in my Discord. Like, I feel like as time has gone on, MatPat's kind of like gotten maybe lost in the sauce a little bit. I feel like his old stuff was really solid. Like, I really liked his old content. And I'll admit, even some of my videos and how I present my evidence and stuff, is a little bit similar. Like, I borrow some of that stuff from him. It's inspired from how he edits his videos. If there's one thing you can't hate on MatPat in any of his videos, dude, the editing is always phenomenal, dude. It's always like absolute god tier. I wish I had the talents that this guy had in terms of editing, dude. Visually, everything is so damn appealing in these videos. Like, I liked his original Pokemon theory that humans were Pokemon. I thought that was really interesting. Based on his original analysis of, I think it was like I think characters from Red and Silver for the most part. Or Red and Gold, however you want to look at it. But yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Let's see here. I'm going to turn down the music a tad, boys, and we're going to start this bad boy.
Theory tends to get itself a bad rap. As the middle child of the theorist lineup, it tends to get overlooked or forgotten, so much so that it's become its own meme at this point. And yet, of all the channels, film theory covers, by my estimation, the most important topics. Don't get me wrong, you have plenty of silly episodes mixed in here, like How to Kill Deadpool, Willy Wonka's OSHA violations, me trying to become host at Jeopardy, your lost guys, by the way. But you also have episodes warning about deepfakes, propaganda, net neutrality, copyright, how
Yo, this dude really does cover, like, fucking everything. Like, yo, a lot like Jobbers and Goons, yo, they're very diverse in their content. Like, that's something that I'm trying to be better about, is expand past kind of the stuff I'm just doing now. But, like, dude, this guy does everything. He jumps into, like, every field. It's impressive.
Eroding our collective sense of identity, resulting in heightened levels of depression and isolation. Those are important and heavy topics to cover because, as we said in one of our recent theories, media is a tool that can enact change and influence public thinking at a global scale. The
True.
entertainment we consume, it shapes us and our beliefs. And like any tool, it can transform into a weapon if misused. Which is why today's episode, my final film theory, feels so important.
Final film theory, okay. So, the title of this one's Don't Trust Your Heroes. And so I'm assuming, yo, what's up, Rockin' Alice? Yo, we got a Theromax Corps member in chat. What's up, homie? I'm assuming that this film theory is gonna be about, like, all heroes are evil, or all heroes wind up becoming evil. I imagine it's gonna play off like the idea from, like, the Dark Knight, right? I imagine that's where we're going with this.
Internet, welcome to Film Theory, the show that's now entering
Yo.
the Zaddy era. Today I wanted to start off with a question. I want you to think about all the media that you consumed during your childhood, all the TV shows
it's a lot.
Movies that you loved.
I'll admit it was a lot for me.
Perspective that you've gained as you've gotten older. Can you name for me 5 good father figures from children's media? I'm talking about whole.
Okay, 5 good. Okay, he's challenging us. Okay. Yo. Okay, yo, this is a challenge, yo. I'm not gonna lie. Think of 5 good father figures from all the media you had growing up. Yo, let's see if the Theromax Corps chat can actually one-shot MatPat here. Let's find out, boys. Yo, holy shit. 5 good father figures. I'm thinking up of stuff in the background too. So if you guys can't hit 5, I'll see if I can make up for your ground. Also, lore moment, guys. Yo, Rohan asked me, since when is my PFP Yu-Gi-Oh? Yo, I took a crazy thumbnail the other day. And when I took that thumbnail, I was in the thumbnail. My hair is wild. My hair is always crazy as hell. And I got like 17 different comments about how I look like Yu-Gi-Oh with my hair because it was so wild. So I said, fuck it. I'll be the king of cosmology games inside YouTube. Fuck it. So I just threw the hair on. I still got the map of the multiverse in the background though. Superman's parents. Yeah, Superman's parents is a good one. Rohan's actually spitting facts here. We're only looking for dads though, so yeah. Pa Kent in the Superman animated series. I would consider that all one continuity though, so I wouldn't say like the same dude from like the several other series that he happens to be in by any means. But yo, low-key actually fire. Oh, come on. Rohan can't be the only guy giving me good father figures out here, boys. There's no way that Theromax Corps is about to get one shot in chat. There is no fucking way. Rock can't even think of something? What is this? Man, the tragedy about fucking father figures and or even just parents in general inside fiction is they are rough, man. Like things get brutal. Like absolutely brutal. In DC you'll find a bunch of those. I feel like in DC I feel like you'll find a bunch of those unless you're Wonder Woman. Because Wonder Woman kind of had it rough, boys. Not gonna lie. Kim Possible's parents were pretty wholesome. Another W. Another W. Rohan's spitting facts over here, dude. Yo, first time seeing Rohan in chat, and Rohan's murdering the rest of Theromax Corps in the modern day. He was a pretty solid Dadarino, though. Yo, I will admit, that is genuinely tough. That is genuinely tough, boys.
That dad should be doing. Legitimately, go down to the comments, type out who comes to mind, because I consume a lot of media, and I had a hard time making this list. Back when we brought Leon as director here on Film.
So it's not just me, okay. Maybe it is a trope.
About the state of media. Even more recently, we've asked this question around the office, and people really struggle with it. I mean, it's not impossible to come up with a list. You'll eventually get there, but it's shockingly hard. Our list ended up being Bandit from Bluey, Arthur Weasley from Harry Potter.
Arthur Weasley's a great one. Oh, but,
from Lion King.
Okay, I get. Yo, these are actually goated. Okay, Iroh is a 10 out of 10. Like, there's no way. There's literally no way you can't tell me that Iroh's not on that list. And Arthur Weasley is a classic. Like, bro, how could you not have him on there? That's solid. Okay, Bluey, I have no idea. I've never messed with it.
And Goofy from a Goofy movie. But the fact that
Goofy, yeah.
Time to do is pretty darn telling. Fathers in sitcoms are usually bumbling buffoons, deadbeat dads, or need anger management. And it's not just a lack of good dads here either. Honestly, most of the male characters that you see across media, both young and old, they're not great. Classic cartoon kids are almost universally bratty.
Pretty fucking crazy, yeah. I mean, to be fair, cartoons for the most part are meant to be like, at least in a lot of the forums he demonstrated here, are meant to be like the extremes of like the different versions of the characters they represent, right? So like, I don't think that that's that crazy. Like that's not surprising me, right? Because like in The Simpsons, Homer is like a stereotype dad, right? Like that's his whole character. Okay, and we can't use Billy and Mandy as a defense because everything and everyone in this is fucking insane, okay? And he's a genius.
Even the oldest of old school animated characters that have been sanitized to be as brand safe and neutral today as possible, they started off as horrible jerks.
Facts. Okay, yeah, but Bugs Bunny is still kind of a dick.
Uncontrollable monster.
Yo.
Angry, they're violent, they're not good people.
Yo,
So
yeah,
why
they're
don't we
caricatures.
get on to my final episode? Well, as
None of these
a
dudes were
writer,
superheroes, though.
I pay a lot more attention
I don't
to these
think.
sorts of things in the media that I watch because I want to know if it's something that I can actually share with Ollie. And surprisingly, there isn't a lot that I'm super happy with sharing. And it all comes down to a lack of shows with characters that I actually want Ollie to grow up
Yo, we got a few more popping off in chat. Barry Allen, Thomas Wayne, Hugh Neutron. Okay, Hugh Neutron's like a walking potato. You can't say Hugh Neutron, bro. He's a meme because of how dumb he is. He is caring and loving, though. He's just a fucking idiot. Hugh Neutron. Looks like you're going to the Shadow Realm, Jimbo. Fucking Hugh. But okay, come on. We're talking like cartoons and stuff, okay? We're talking like cartoons and stuff, not comics, though. We could be here all day with good comic book heroes from DC. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and deny that, bro. Like, the characters there are like literally just icons.
To be like, I can't stress enough that
Ultimate paradigms of fucking like morality.
Newer shows like Owl House, Amphibia, and Kippo and the Age of the Wonder Beasts are given voices to historically underrepresented groups as both creators and characters.
Okay, this one was awesome. This one was awesome. This shit I fell asleep in. So I don't know how in the hell we comparing these two to this one. That's all I'm saying.
There is something in there for everyone, and that's all.
That's all I'm saying.
For boy characters that I want my son to try to be like, of male characters that I want him to look up to, they are mighty slim, my friends. That's kind of a problem. So today, I wanted to look at why. Why are there so few of these truly great role models for boys? Why, in this era where we have more choice in what we can watch than ever before, are there so few choices that have good male role models for my son to look up to? Well, after diving into the history and economics of this sort of media, it all comes down, as it so often does, to money. Surprise, surprise.
I don't understand.
Touch that dial, my friends. It's time to crack this case wide open. So to start things out, it should be noted that gender identity for young children doesn't really become a factor for several years into their life. According to research, most kids don't start to identify with one gender or another until the age of 3. And it's important that they're encouraged to explore that at their own pace. The last thing we want to do is to sort kids who are still discovering themselves into boxes. And likewise, children can of course have role models who are not the same sex or gender they are. It is awesome for boys to have role models who are women, vice versa, and everyone beyond and in between the binary. I'm just talking about it today because I want to make sure that there are good examples set across the board for everyone. And right now, the male category, pretty severely lacking. And me saying that might come as a bit of a surprise, right? Like, there are...
I'll actually agree with this too. I don't know why in the modern day it does seem like, I don't know, maybe it's chance, maybe it is just something else. It does seem like there is like this active weird thing going on where we just kind of demonize like strong male figures. I think it's weird that in the modern age we haven't been seeing a lot of really solid versions of that. It's not that they're absent, it's just that we're seeing a lot less of them. Am I saying do we need like 80s action heroes to come directly back? No, but I will say that role has felt a little bit diminished for sure. That's fair.
Of male characters out there in media. They have been the focus of entertainment forever. So
okay. This makes sense though. It makes sense that these were the figures you were appealing to with cartoons, right? Because these are like what you in the past we wanted young men to look at and be like, yo, this is dope. Like this is where you want to be, right? Like these are the role models or figures that you want to use, depending on which version, right? Most people who watched animated things like that were just guys because that was seen as too childish for women, or women weren't supposed to like watch something like that back in the day. I think that's silly, but like that's what it was. Like that's how the era was reflected back then.
Possibly standing here saying we need more male role models. Well, this is one of those episodes where just looking at the numbers isn't going to be telling you the whole story.
Okay, that's I 10 out of 10 agree with this, because if there's like 50,000 shit ass like male role models and you only have one good one, then, or not one, but just like a select few like standouts, I will admit that does hurt, like the totality of it. Interesting.
4 countries found that there were twice as many male characters than female characters in children's TV. A decade later, a similar study from the Gina Davis Institute on Gender and Media found that roughly half of all episodes of children's entertainment had female leads. That is good news. Everything's balanced as all things should be. What's the problem? Well, again,
well, now as it's progressing, it's gonna get worse.
Characters, there are plenty of them out there. We are tripping over them. Instead,
so are they quality? Yeah.
The quality of those characters. What's going on with the types of male characters that we keep seeing? Have you ever stopped and considered how many of them actually embody the traits that you would want a kid to emulate? At a quick glance, the modern era, it's seen a wide spectrum of
Hilda's a great show. Yeah, I like that one. So I didn't like that show. That show is
McStuffins,
Dog shit.
Miraculous Ladybug, Hello Kitty, Bluey, Luz from the Owl House, most of the gems from Steven Universe, Carmen Sandiego, who's apparently a hero now. Barbie just
When did that happen?
Live action adaptation, and she's also sort of a YouTube vlogger dishing out shockingly solid mental health advice.
Maybe I'm just being really unfair on myself. You know, I
Damn.
don't always have to be upbeat and positive.
Even parodies of the overcome.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Neo heroine like Princess Bubblegum from Adventure
What the
Time
fuck?
ultimately get to be effective political leaders, excel at STEM fields, kick butt on the battlefield, and get the girl in the end. The fact that these characters exist, that is awesome. I don't want to take anything away from that. And if this is how we're overcorrecting for decades of women being trapped as damsels in distress or trophies, I am all about that. But then you look over at the boys and things get a bit more complicated. Sure, there are some truly great and kind characters that I do want my son to look up to. For as much fun as I've had here on the channel, Sam is actually a ruthless business. Ryder from the Paw Patrol, fantastic role model. He's smart, he's resourceful, he's caring, he's a leader, and it was awesome that Ollie dug that series. Probably in part because he saw Ryder and wanted to connect with him. Same thing with Dipper from Gravity Falls. Also a win for being smart, curious, brave,
Facts.
and a loving brother.
Great show,
Also
too.
A handful of solid early educational programming with male protagonists like Arthur, Thomas the Tank Engine, Daniel Tiger. Those
Arthur was the homie.
How few of them are actually human. But let's talk for a minute about the characters that you'd typically see come up in a conversation.
Huh, that's kind of strange
Well, the problem here
to
is
think
they
about.
have a huge asterisk attached to their names. Captain America, Superman, Batman.
They're all heroes.
Ninja Turtles,
Yeah.
they're all great. But the stories also involve a lot of war, crime,
Conflict.
fighting.
Well, yeah, of course.
They tend to solve most of their problems through punching and physical violence. Aang, Luke Skywalker, Harry Potter, they're selfless heroes who do what they think's right no matter what the cost. But they're also sitting smack dab in franchises built on needing to be violent.
Okay, you just missed the entire purpose. The entire purpose of Avatar. Why would you reference Avatar and then make a point that the entire show is based in violence? When the entire purpose of Aang was, I hate violence and I don't want to kill people. Like that's unironically like a solid, I feel like that just snapped. It just snapped like everything in half that he was trying to build up into this moment. Fuck, how could you, bro, that guy just stepped on the rake right there in the middle of his argument. Fuck.
Often killing soldiers, stormtroopers, dark wizards. Not generally a drawback that
Okay,
you listen from
that-
traditionally feminine.
Yeah, that works in any of those situations besides with Angmar, because he doesn't kill people.
Skewing characters like Sophia the First or Elena of Avalor. And if they're not violent or surrounded by violence, well, very often they're just not good. Johnny Bravo's a big ol' womanizer. Timmy Turner's a whiny, spoiled narcissist. Jimmy Neutron's arrogant, destructive, mean to girls, and regularly uses his intelligence as an excuse for being a jerk to his friends. Even Phineas and Ferb, who are smart and resourceful and funny, are outright disobeying their parents each and every day of summer. It's actually the reason Ollie wanted to stop watching the show. He was afraid of them getting in trouble for constantly breaking the rules episode after episode.
Oh my fucking god, dude, that's so weeb. What? What the fuck? Okay. Like, yo, holy cow. Who watches a cartoon show and is like, damn, dude, they're gonna get in trouble for breaking the rules? Like, kids in a cartoon show, bro. It's like a fucking cartoon show. Like, what the fuck?
I think you get
Let's see. Keep Talking says, I mean, Avatar is fully about a war, though. Yeah, it's about people who chose to use violence in a negative manner, right? Violence can be a good thing if you're defending yourself. There's nothing wrong with that idea, right? Just like anything, violence is something that can be used in a positive or negative way. Violence in defense of yourself is a positive thing. That's all Aang ever wanted, right? Is to make it to where everybody wasn't in that situation. Everybody wasn't under the tyranny of someone. I mean, they killed his entire species for just looking for the guy. Or it's not a species, his entire people. Like, just because the world has violence, and I think removing that entirely is like silly. Because violence will always be a concept that exists. Trying to just take it away seems silly. Violence is not the problem. Negative violence is the problem. And the point of that series is to demonstrate those who had the power and used it against somebody negatively. It's okay to stand up for them. It's okay to do the right thing. As Lost Soul just said, protecting your friends or family or the things you stand up for, that's a positive thing, even if it is violence. Even if it is, in this situation, like his kid said, oh, it broke the rules. Like, if I have to break the rules to save my family in some situations like that, then, I mean, so be it.
Get the idea. Look at media through this sort of lens and suddenly you see examples everywhere you go. Just to get some hard numbers in here, that same Gina Davis study that I mentioned earlier noted that male characters, they're more likely to be violent compared to female characters and also almost twice as likely to be depicted as a criminal. Remember, we're not talking about fun characters to watch or characters that you like. I think most of the examples I listed above fall into at least one of those two categories.
If you also check violence rates, men are traditionally more violent than women, and so it would make sense that they're reflective of that inside the comics or inside media in general. I do agree we need to be more positive, but like, is he saying that in a world, should all of our media be reflective of a world we don't exist in? That seems a little strange to me. A little bit.
No, we're talking about characters that are admirable role models for young boys. Characters whose activity we want them to imitate or look up to as they develop during childhood. I also want to reaffirm, I personally like all of these shows and movies.
I think, yeah, like it's important to know that these are good shows, but you should look up to aspects of things, okay? Like Jimmy Neutron. Look, Jimmy Neutron a lot of times fucks up to an inhuman point with his friends, right? His intellect gets in the way of his friendships. But that's one of the morals of the story in there, is that he can't just be this cold thought or like a thought-provoking machine that has no emotions, right? Goddard is Dog, as well as, I mean, pretty much his entire cast of friends, including the God Ultra Lord. Like clearly are all things that help push that like moral home. I think that maybe something we're overlooking with this is that just because it's a kid's show doesn't mean characters can't have flaws. Because Jimmy Neutron is a flawed character for sure. But it's not about, you don't watch that show and think, I'm going to emulate his flaws. You want to emulate his genius, right? Now, I'll agree with Johnny Bravo. Somebody said something about like toxic masculinity earlier. And I don't remember what it was, but like, look, toxic masculinity, kind of that show, that show's funny as hell, but like at the same time, look, that's not how I want, like that's clearly not what I would consider like a kid's show. It's just a dude run around hitting on chicks in very not mature ways, okay? Funny to laugh at, but not something I would like people to emulate. It's kind of like Super Jail or some of the more crazy like Adult Swim cartoons. It's like, it's funny they exist, but they're not designed to be like morality-based things. Like Captain America, even inside the MCU, is not a perfect person, okay? But he's trying to be better. So if you look into that and say, wow, Captain America isn't perfect, and our kids watch the show, to me, that's a little, like, lame of an argument at that point. Because it's like, well, no, the point of it is that he's not perfect, and he's trying to do the right thing. He's trying to be better. And his story is the story of pushing forward and making that happen. While Soul says boys need to learn how to be masculine because they're men, but some of these shows demonstratively positive and negative masculinity. Johnny Bravo's actions are seen as bad. Male criminals are punished. True. I think you can look at that as the moral. Like, I would look at that as an adult as the moral of Johnny Bravo. Is like, look, clearly this is a parody of like that a-hole you knew in high school or college who's like the ultimate quote-unquote woman's man, right? And you just get to laugh at how dumb he looks for like an entire cartoon. But some boys don't look up to that. They don't have the maturity or the intelligence to reflect upon that in a positive manner. Positive morals are important, but changing your morality based on new information, I think, is also important. And that's what a lot of these shows demonstrate. I mean, Star Wars being a prime example. Another person who did not want to fight, only fought because he had to. Like, it's another one of those things. I can't speak to Fairly Odd Parents because I didn't really like that show. And Phineas and Ferb is funny, but like I don't analyze it to that same degree. So
Judgment here clear if you're a fan of any of these sorts of things. But they're just not shows that I can show Ollie until he's much, much older because of the implicit lessons that they contain. Boys are violent. You solve your problems with punching. If you break rules and treat people badly, don't worry, there are no real consequences. You're the main character of your own show, and everything just works out well for you. So with all of that established, I think we can start to discuss why things have ended up this way, because this has deep roots in the history of pop culture. The long and short of it, when you start to unpack the old media that inspired our modern media, you find a lot of old-fashioned assumptions that end up persisting in ways that you wouldn't expect. Though there have always been trickster boy characters dating back
Anansi.
cultures all across the world, the Western pop culture version of this archetype really took shape in the early 1900s with the creation of Peter Pan by novelist J.M. Barrie, though you probably know him best from the 1950s.
On a side note, Captain America Winter Soldier peak, says Rowan, hell yeah, based. Keep Talking says, maybe keep the characters with those types of lessons for when they're older. Remember, Matt Pat's son is 3, and I'm not sure his brain is developed enough to fully see the difference. In terms of, like, Johnny Bravo, I agree with you on that. In terms of, like Billy and Mandy, I agree with you on that. I don't think that shit was supposed to be for kids. Now, I watched all of that forever. I knew kids who watched that shit growing up, and they're not, like, fucking insane. They don't walk around and beat people to death or anything along those lines, but, you know, in a video game.
Disney cartoon. I cannot overstate how influential this one story was. Everyone and everything from Steven Spielberg to The Legend of Zelda was influenced by Peter Pan. And that matters. By this point, I'm sure you know the story. Peter Pan's a boy who doesn't want to grow up. He has magical powers and finds other children who also don't want to grow up, whisking them away to Neverland so they can be kids together forever. In some darker interpretations, he just straight up
abducts them. That's the original version.
The first time I see his face, it's clear that this is not a 100% trustworthy good guy. The whole point of Peter Pan's character, though, is that he's fun, but he's also immature. He's emotionally stunted. He's kind of a jerk. If you aren't also a perpetual
He's a kid who never grew up. Yeah.
If you're a girl. The Lost Boys are called the Lost Boys because there weren't any lost girls originally. Peter's explanation is that girls are just far too clever to become lost like the rest of them. And when he brings Windy Darling to Neverland, it throws things into complete disarray because her relative maturity makes the other lost boys want to grow up. The point is,
isn't that the point?
Was the very rigid classifications of gender in a child's upbringing during the era. The idea that on the whole, girls emotionally mature faster than boys. Something that has a fair amount of scientific truth to it. Literally, most girls
I don't think that was his point. But yeah, I agree.
Than boys, leading them to cognitively mature more quickly. The consensus for a long time has been that boys are born wild and unruly, while girls just grow up faster. And it's therefore their job to civilize the boys, to get them to want to settle down and act like actual human beings. And that mentality is all over old Disney films. The Seven Dwarves live like a bunch of frat boys until Snow White shows up.
That was like the culture of the time. It was just reflective of the era, right? Because the men did everything, and the women didn't necessarily like, they didn't have to deal with any of those issues. They stayed home. Not a fan of that, but that's what it was. This is what was expected out of men at that time.
In these older stories, the girl was the
like, I feel like the analysis of this is that the past media in the past favored men to be aggressive and women to be like not problem solvers, but use their emotions to kind of guide themselves through all these issues and overcome things. Because peace, even back then, was still something seen as like important, right? And together, the union of those two things like make something better. So like it would make sense our media was reflective of it in that era. Like I don't understand. Maybe there's a big turnaround coming here. I don't know.
Boys will be boys, and the girls the trophy that you earned for settling down. It's not great. It's how we got a lot of the problems.
But I feel like we're missing it, though. We're missing the point here. So this is the narratives that a lot of these like stories present. I will agree with this. This is the narratives that a lot of these things have in them. But even in those stories, I feel like a lot of times we're pushing past those narratives, right? Like, that's the point of those, is to push past those narratives. I feel like we're only looking at, like, the first half of any of these movies or any of this media. Because if you look, like, there's morals that you gain at the end that are actually solid, that are, like, foundational, that prove, like, the majority of these characters wrong, or, like, main characters wrong, and they change their opinion for the better. So I don't understand. Like,
settling down, it's not great. It's how we got a lot of the problematic media from years gone by. And more importantly, the justified pushback against that sort of thinking's what's led to a lot of the great girl-targeted media over the past decade. Movies and series written specifically to show that girls aren't.
well, it's not just the prizes for boys. Companies just found out, holy shit, women watch cartoons too. So they started making content for women. Because in the past, our entire society basically just decided that cartoons were for boys. Like, if it had anything to do with anything, right? Like, that they couldn't, it had to be a story for a boy or it had to be a story for a girl. You couldn't have a diverse cast of characters all in one story for some reason. And the narrative would only be told from that perspective. Take He-Man and She-Ra, prime examples, right? Like, they may have even crossed over, but for the most part, they kept predominantly separate. And that's kind of how they wanted it. If you wanted like an action hero, she was like one of the few characters who did that. And even in that, they kept it pretty separate. I just wish that, I don't know. I think media in general is opening itself up to try and target more people, because those underlying mechanics, those underlying biases that our culture has had, I don't think these corporations care about that. Because these corporations basically just want, like, to sell more products. So why not sell to a group that's not being catered to enough? Prime example in the majority of these characters here, I would say.
Just there to be prizes for the boys, or there for the sole purpose of getting their male counterparts to mature. They're their own fully realized people with beliefs, virtues, flaws, strengths and weaknesses, thoughts.
We have done better with females over time, for sure.
Why hasn't something similar happened with boys in the media? Why are so many of these male characters just stuck in the older ways of thinking and writing male characters while girls have gotten to grow up? They're still stuck as
Did they?
emotionally stunted and immature. Why? Well, there's something that all these years of hosting the channels have taught me, is that the real reason so many decisions are made in Hollywood comes down to one thing and one thing only: the money. And in children's media, there's no bigger moneymaker than
Toys,
toys.
yeah.
See, in Hollywood, there's a concept known as toyetic media. This is any movie, cartoon, TV show,
Goal is to sell.
created for the purpose of
Yeah.
advertising merchandise. It doesn't have to be the only purpose of the media, but a lot of decisions made in Hollywood are done so that the properties become more toyetic. A good example of this,
Yeah.
during the pre-production of the 1990s,
Dragon Ball suffers from this a ton.
manufacturers sat in on creative meetings, and many parts of the movie were changed to be easier to make toys out of. And despite the film itself being a financial disappointment, the merchandise made enough money that Warner Brothers continued the Batman franchise with a reboot. However, the first
Dude, the toy franchise, this is 100% true. Some of the best franchises of all time have been fucking killed, murdered, because they didn't sell toys. Yo, remember Green Lantern, the animated series? Guess what? Didn't sell enough toys, got canceled. Hey, remember Young Justice? Hey, remember Young Justice? Hey, remember Young Justice? All 3 times that shit was canceled because it didn't sell enough toys. That is a tragedy of just media in general whenever it comes to like the cartoon landscape. That's one of the unique things, and why I think manga and anime does incredibly well is because whenever they're making a product, they just make a product with the intent to sell the product. They don't make the product with an intent to only sell toys with that product. That hurts everything a lot, man, whenever it comes to a lot of the Western media that we have in the modern day.
property that really took advantage of this idea of toyetic media was Star Wars. Practically everything within the Star Wars franchise was
I think George Lucas got the rights to all the toys because they didn't fucking hold him accountable to it.
transfer to toys. And George Lucas was a savvy enough businessman to negotiate that he would
Yeah.
rights in lieu of a higher upfront paycheck. This is how Lucas made his billions, not through the movies, through the
Yep.
toys. The movies were just a nice bonus on top. They were great films that happened to act as commercials for the action figures and plastic lightsabers.
So true.
Other companies definitely took note of this. This led to a slew of toyetic IP being created for the sole purpose of selling merchandise. And a lot of the most popular franchises from the 80s and 90s fall into this exact category. I'm talking Transformers, G.I. Joe, Thundercats, He-Man, She-Ra.
Any 90s, yeah, anything from the 90s.
Cowboy Bebop. All of them are made specifically to sell toys, games, trading cards, you name it.
And it kills franchises. It kills them.
Tell our kids. But then why are we still selling crummy characters to little boys and not to girls? Well, if you look at the way boys and girls relate to their toys, you
They
start
do,
to see
though.
the big reasons why boy characters are held to such low standards. Let me show you an example from one of the world's biggest toy brands, Lego. In 2011, the Lego company completed.
Let's see what he's Let's see what he's cooking. We haven't even touched superheroes yet. I'm so confused. We're almost done.
Development and feedback from parents to figure out the difference between boy toys and girl toys, if there was any difference at all. What did boys and girls like to play with and why? And the results were fascinating. Obviously, this comes with big asterisks that every child's going to be different, but broadly speaking, Lego found that boys tended to play with their toys and figurines in the third person, deciding what actions the characters they were playing with would take more as a director of sorts. They were telling the knights, astronauts, or superheroes what to do during play rather than being the characters themselves or putting themselves into the character's shoes. For Lego, that meant that the boys
that's actually interesting.
Towards the IP-based playsets, Star Wars,
based on popular shit.
Really exciting to direct the action for, but where you didn't really have to pretend to be those characters to make it exciting. On the other hand, girls tended to play in the first person, role-playing that they themselves.
Yo, that's pretty wild.
Characters doing these actions. They projected their own identity.
I would have never guessed that. Like weirdly enough.
To do things. The result of all this, Lego, who had always prided itself on the idea that Lego bricks were for everyone, that they weren't gendered, they developed the Lego Friends line, focused more on pastel colors, sets that seem more like doll houses than Death Stars, and redesigned minifigurines to look more human. Lego Friends is
that's actually like crazy to think about. I'm like
in Lego's history, doubling Lego's expectations, tripling their sales with girls in the US and European markets.
That's low-key wild.
Become the biggest toy maker on the planet. Clearly, it met a need in the market, and the data from their study lines up with tons of other deep dive research about toys and playstyles for children. The big TLDR here is that boys and girls relate to characters differently. So when you're creating a TV show trying to sell them a bunch of toys, those toys are going to look different depending on.
They'd have to be because you're marketing to different groups,
Characters that the girls want to be. So when you sell them toys, they want to embody those characters. For boys, the job's actually kind of different. All you gotta do is create exciting worlds and characters for them to direct. As long as they feel like cool, exciting characters, job done. They don't necessarily have to be someone you look up to. And therefore, you get characters that aren't really good people. They're just loud and grabby.
Okay, yo, I don't agree with this, okay? I don't know if I'm putting these three on this list, all right? I would put Cap in there too. Or like I would put Cap in with these DC heroes because like Cap is one of the more morally responsible characters in Marvel, and that's impressive considering how much of a shit show sometimes Marvel can be morally. So like I don't know, man. I don't even think half these characters were designed to promote toys. Like Johnny Bravo, I don't think was a toy guy. I don't think Timmy Turner was a toy guy either. So like I don't know if even any of these characters fit this besides the superheroes, unironically, which don't fit that mold.
I bring all this up, Lego and toyetic media, because I can't help but draw a connection between the ways these studies observe children playing with toys and the media that's explicitly being created for them. Because girls typically role-play in the first person during childhood, there's a greater focus on seeing yourself in these characters from that female-targeted media. They're designed from the ground up to be more appropriate role models because girls would directly identify with those protagonists. And on the other hand, boys are just assumed to simply watch male-targeted shows for the cool characters doing awesome things. They're watching the story in the third person and incorporating what they see into the direction that they give their toys later on. In the eyes of the corporation making the media and ultimately making the toys, what's most important here is to make the male characters cool, funny, loud, and exciting, which far too often just translates into violent, stupid, and cruel. And
okay, hold on. I don't agree with either one of these as a definition for Batman, though. Maybe violent, but Batman just doesn't like snap people's necks for like no fucking reason or anything. I really am against the idea of violence, like just in general. Like you just can't have that as a concept in your life. Because if like a bully walks up on you, and this is all the media you've ever been a part of, okay, and this dude starts beating the dog shit out of you, he literally punches all your teeth into the back of your fucking throat, knocks out every single one that you have in a video game, and you're just expected to like internalize that and not defend yourself. Like you can be positive, like that you can be in defense of yourself and it be positive. To say that you shouldn't have any feels like lame to me. That feels cop-outy. Like really cop-outy in my opinion.
is a significant.
I don't know. What do you guys think? Tell me down low.
Stack up, especially in relation to their female counterparts. Media, it's powerful. We see it influence action in the real world. And with younger girls now being shown that the world is open to them and that people should be taking them seriously by all these female protagonists, the ball starts rolling to make that a reality. And now, I want us to be able to do the same for these male characters. If we want our boys to grow up knowing that they should be kind, fair, smart and respectful, thoughtful and strong in all the right ways, we need to set them up for success.
I don't understand how you can't watch the Justice League animated series and come away with these morals. And he specifically referenced those characters too. So like, they do all of this. You can be a violent person and still be kind, fair, smart, respectful, thoughtful, and strong. It's all about how you weaponize that violence, whether it's aggression towards another or whether it's in defense of other people. I think that's a really important lesson that should be learned. I was taught that lesson at a very young age, and I grew up in a very racist place, okay? And I don't look very dark anymore, but I was way dark back then, and I got called the worst things imaginable. I had people attack me because of who I was. It was a very interesting way to grow up, okay? A very interesting way to grow up. So, like, violence to me is something that was used in defense of me and even some of my friends. So, like, to say that there should be none or that violence in general is just negative in any kind of media, that to me is like a fucking surface level take. I don't like that idea.
By putting good examples of these traits in front of them in the shows that they're watching. We can still have fun with them. They can still be heroic and funny, but they can do all that without being mean or dumb or violent or destructive. It won't be easy.
Okay, once again. How does Batman explain this to me, okay?
Do all that
Okay.
without being mean or dumb or violent or
Okay. How does Batman stop Joker from killing everyone in Gotham without violence? Can someone explain that to me? Because, like, I'm so confused. How do you set up a situation where the Joker wants to eliminate an entire faction of people, has 700 guys with guns on hand, and he's also the fucking Joker, alright? One of the most deadliest figures on the fucking planet. Batman's expected to show up and not be violent? So everyone dies? Like, how does Batman not be violent in that situation? That's like the most surface level take on comic book characters ever.
destructive. It won't be easy, but we've shown over the last decade that we can make positive change in the media that's being produced. And
Okay, even in this, that's true. Like, Hunter, right here on the cover of Owl House, is a great character. Okay? He was a dude who overcame all sorts of stuff in this show. Especially his origin story. Really positive character. Okay? A dude who went through the worst shit and came out on top. There's positive examples. I feel like you might be, like, weirdly, they might be the main characters of these shows, but I don't necessarily know if these shows are written, like, only for, like, girls. They just happen to have, like, girl main characters. Because guess what? In these shows you're demonstrating now, each one of these motherfuckers is violent. This dude punches people, clearly. He's throwing his fist towards the fucking screen, and they're all half animals, if memory serves right. I'm sure there's people fighting inside of it. She has a fucking sword on the cover of the page and fights to defend her friends. Okay? He shoots people with the fucking slingshot to defend his friends. She's a witch. She's a fucking witch. And the whole story is her learning magic to fight people. So how would you put comic, like, the Justice League in the same, not in the same boat as these characters? Like, I will agree. I will agree 10 out of 10 that there are clearly elements. There are clearly elements inside, like, any kid show that's going to have violence. Fuck, dude, that's just so... I'm like literally so triggered at that. That's such a bad argument, dude.
you know what? It is time that we finally let our boys grow up. That way my son, our sons, can have characters worth looking up to. But hey, that's just a theory. A film theory.
Man.
And cut.
Okay, yo, was Matt Pat cooking, boys? Was Matt Pat cooking? I don't think so. I don't think so. This theory, what was the theory exactly? Was the theory that like boys get shit cartoon characters because companies think they just like violence? Was like that? Was that the takeaway from this? Was that the takeaway from the video? There's no way that like I'm trying to be really fair too. Like I'm being rough, but I'm trying to be really fair. Cartoon shows in general, I'll agree, have some pretty unhealthy male figures in them. I am not denying that whatsoever. Cartoons get a little bit weird. But like cartoons like based on superheroes and stuff, I really don't think I don't understand. I don't even understand the point he's trying to make. I will agree that we've been doing far better with women inside way better in my opinion, way better women in cartoons, for sure. Like I'm definitely not gonna deny that by a long shot. But to generalize all cartoon men, when there are good examples out there, and like I said, you can't do that with DC characters. Like you just can't do that. You can't use violence as an argument for that and then throw up female shows where the females all use violence to solve the plot inside the show. Like that to me makes no sense. I don't understand that. Well, Lost Soul says we don't necessarily need a father figure. We need a good male figure to look up to. I think the point at the beginning was just like, hey, think about how many like positive father figures. And then he went on to like spread that to just anyone you could look up to in cartoons. And I think that the reason why they had to start off with that niche one, it's kind of deceptive because it makes you think, well, wow, I really didn't think of anyone back there. But if you think of positive male figures, they don't have to be fathers, just male figures. There's a lot of them, right? I mean, pretty much every character inside the Justice League is like a positive figure, I would say. I mean, they might have their moments of negativity, but for the most part, they're genuinely doing the right things. Like being flawless, that's something I will agree with. In some of these shows that show up, the characters are flawless, and whether it's a male or female character, if you're a flawless character, then you're a bad character, because how in the fuck nothing changes for you. This is one of the issues I have with like Superman, right? Superman's kind of flawless, and that sucks to a certain extent. He's like the ultimate moral authority. That's why I like the Justice League, is because he stands in opposition to other characters who all are good people, but have different positions. I like that idea. That makes it interesting. Conflict isn't inherently bad. Conflict amongst positive people isn't inherently bad. If your show is just like the main character and everybody likes them and everything just doesn't suck, you're basically just writing Naruto, but if nobody ever had a problem with Naruto. And if nobody ever had a problem with Naruto, Naruto's story would fucking suck. Because the whole purpose of his story is that nobody valued him, nobody liked him, and everybody hated him. So I don't know, man. This one was weird. There's elements. I think I agree with what he said. I think maybe he just took it like 2 steps too far. He might have gone a little too far, I think, in that department. But what do you guys think? Hit me up down low in the chat section. Lost Souls over here typing up all sorts of stuff with YARC. Yo, if you guys have not liked this bad boy, do that action now, because I don't have enough likes on this video for how many people are chilling inside my chat. Come on, homies. Let's fucking go. Oh, I might have had to refresh there. We'll find out. Yeah, let's go. We getting them now. Yo, let's see here. He had some points, but didn't execute or explain them properly. I'll look. Yeah, I agree. Maybe he didn't expand upon them as much as he should have, I think. We don't necessarily need a father figure, just a good male figure to look up to. Oh, yeah, Radona. I believe Superman is more meant to be an ideal or guide, in my opinion. Something you should be like for, but you can't actually be like him. Yeah, like a goal to strive to. Lark says violence is bad meme. Well, I don't know. That idea really does seem silly to me, but it is what it is. But it was an interesting video, to say the least. Interesting video. There was some really genuinely interesting stuff, like how people look at like their toys and stuff. That was like genuinely intriguing. I didn't know any of that. That was definitely worth it. Yo, definitely interesting stuff. Let's see here. See, he keeps heralding these as the W's. And these two definitely are W's, but like I said, this character's wildly violent. Her whole thing is, you know what? She's a stand-in for the toxic male person. Oh my god. This destroys her whole ideology. She is a stand-in for the toxic male asshole in every cartoon that he referenced. That's so funny to think about. She's heated. She's manipulative. She's an asshole for like the entire first bit of the series. She gets better like a lot of male characters do. They overcome those problems. But like, what? Yeah, I don't understand that one. Sasha is like a real a-hole, man. Yo, Jobber's gonna be watching this and he's gonna be like, yo, who'd have thought Lumos would be on stream? I don't know, Amphibian Owl House. Yo, because me and him talk Amphibian Owl House like all the fucking time. Anytime we wind up getting he was messing with a versus battle meme a while back on that. I think his scaling magically wound up somewhere and somebody else got their hands on it. Imagine that. To defend it, maybe he looks at superhero as the cool badass type, not the wholesome role model guy. As a 5-year-old, I looked at superhero as cool. Just later on, I took positive aspects. Rohan, you say you're just guessing here. That's fair. I don't understand how you don't watch the Justice League and don't see Superman as a positive role model. In every situation where, if I were in his situation in a video game, I probably would get eye laser happy and I would have less villains in a video game. I don't know I could have done, at my age watching that, the same things he could have done. That's the thing about him, kind of like how Lost said earlier. He's like a moral paradigm to show you the awesome things. If you're a kid and you could look to that and just think, wow, I see awesome, that's fair. I think that maybe I was a mature kid. I could look at those things and think, holy shit, that guy's awesome because he could withstand a planet exploding on him. And also, damn, that guy's awesome because I never would have been able to make such a good moral decision like that. If Lex Luthor went to be president and he was going to, in a video game, unalive whoever, like, dude, in that storyline, inside that run, he winds up making the Flash go to the Speed Force in the most violent way possible, if you catch my drift. And like, bro, I would gladly have saved the Flash's life in that instance. You know, that's all I'm saying. I would have made sure that it would have worked. But I don't know. I think that he's missing the point of pretty much every superhero show that's ever existed for a child. There are some superhero shows that are bad and aren't good examples of healthy figures growing up. Oh, that's a good example. Oh my god, yo, I just Jimmy Neutron brain blasted, okay? I just Jimmy Neutron brain blasted real quick. Yo, he said positive role models, okay? And then he did this. Okay, I'm gonna pull this bad boy over real quick. Okay, this man was so quick. So quick to sit here and say, yo, look at Uncle Iroh. Such a positive role model. Such a positive role model. And I agree with that 10 out of 10. Anybody who says Uncle Iroh is not a positive role model, bro, you can go fuck yourself, okay? Because he's the GOAT, all right? And I will stand on that hill. Dude, Uncle Iroh is God tier. Now, I wish that he took that analysis as in-depth with all the other cartoon characters as he did with Iroh. Because I feel like he completely missed the origin story of Iroh. Like within that. He's like, dude, look, Uncle Iroh is such a great guy. The whole point Uncle Iroh was such a great guy was because he had a fucked up past. He did some real bad shit. He was out there attacking the entire Earth Kingdom, bro. He forged his way into fucking Ba Sing Se. He broke the wall and only stopped because his son died. He had a moral moment where his entire life changed. That's why he's the good guy he was. They don't focus on that, but that is like as much as they do other elements of his character because someone else is focused on a little bit more. I'll get to in a second. But like that's still a major part of his character. I feel like we just forgot about that. If he was giving that same analysis, he would probably say of Iroh that he did to these other cartoon characters that Uncle Iroh actually was hyper toxic because at one point in time he did bad things. He learned from them, but he did those bad things. Okay, I think that like it gets even worse when you try to apply that context to Zuko, right? Yo, oh, this is the perfect picture to use too. Perfect picture for this argument. Oh, I feel like we're about to end the stream here in a bit, boys. I'm feeling it over here. But, like, let's look at this. So, Zuko. Yo, if I was to apply the level of analysis that we got from what I felt like happened in that video, I feel like he's only analyzing this version of Zuko. For, like, all those cartoon characters. He's saying, look at Zuko. He's got bad character flaws. Zuko is such a bad character. But what he's not doing is analyzing this section and this section. You don't watch the show and think he's a good person. He's not a positive role model. He's the demonstration of what it is to be wrong. Okay? Aang is the exact example of everything you'd want to be a solid role model. I'll defend myself, but I don't want to harm or kill anybody, right? Zuko is the fundamental opposite. I'm going to unalive everybody possible to get the Avatar just to make my dad happy. I don't have a drive of my own. It's whatever somebody else wants, right? My honor was stripped of me and I have to get it back. Zuko is not a toxic character by the end of the series. He becomes an awesome character, a character that is a positive role model, but only because he went through all of this and recognized how bad it was. How could you say that these characters aren't positive role models? Or like Aang is a positive role model because they're violent. I don't get that argument at all. Why would you say that because they defend their friends with violence, the show is bad, and then provide shows where they have strong female leads and that's all they do? Like that's the whole show is them fighting. Like bro, the more and more I think about it, the more and more cop-outy I'm feeling about that theory. At least on like this super, I can't even say that because this is Avatar. What year did Avatar come out? Hold up. "2005. The original series came out in 2005. this came out in the same era that a lot of the cartoons he referenced that were absolutely shitty took place. Maybe not Johnny Bravo, maybe not Dexter. Man, Dexter might have been on the air at that point in time. Okay, hold up. What's the end date? Oh, when's the end date to this shit? 2003 was the last episode. Okay, so about 2 years apart. I was in the same general range. Huh! I didn't know that. That's kind of cool. But yeah, like, I mean, Billy and Mandy was definitely running in that time frame as well. Man. Fuck, dude, I don't know. That was kind of weird, boys. Not gonna lie. But we're gonna call it good on that one. It was an interesting video. I like concepts in it, and like, I'm not telling anyone to go bomb this shit or anything. Just because I disagree doesn't mean like you need to go like blow up someone's stuff or anything along those lines. But like, I don't know. Give me your takes down low, guys. This one was different. This one was weird. And let me know if you guys enjoy me covering content a little bit outside of like the normal wheelhouse for what I do. I'm trying to make streams happen at least 5 days a week for a short period of time just to cover some interesting things. If you guys have ideas of what you want me to see inside content like this, like live streams and stuff like that, yo, tell me down low in this live stream, and you guys will get exclusive access outside of the people who are already Theromax Corps members and help me decide those things. So type some stuff up down low and let me know what you think. Man, I basically forgot about my damn ramen over here. I'll have to go heat that action back up. Tell you what. Yo. What should we be doing now? Yeah, that was only an hour long. Damn, I figured it was way longer than that. Low-key wild? Low-key wild. Try not to laugh at the boys. You like those reactions? I don't know if I'll be doing stuff like that unless somebody could compile some funny as fuck like DC stuff. That's one thing I figured out on the channel as time has gone on, is you guys don't like watching shit that's not about comics. At least not yet. The current fan base I have, I think that's like a good way to put it. The current fan base I have doesn't necessarily enjoy stuff that's not comic book related. But I don't know, man. I'm down to try some reactions and stuff like that. We'll see what happens. I'm not the biggest react streamer in the world unless it's goofy stuff, but who knows? But I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna grab me another tea. Don't have too much fun, boys. Give me like, man, I'm gonna use the restroom in like 2 seconds. I'll be right back. Keep the memes rolling though. Keep the chat flowing, boys. And we're back, boys. Rohan says, Lost Soul says, how about a superhero villain costume tier list? Discovering what the best look drip is. Hey, Lost, that's actually a really good idea. That's a tier list I wouldn't mind doing. Yo, Lost, if you put that together... Oh, you know what, Lost? That's what we should do. And it's also a shout out to anybody who wants to join the old Discord who's not a complete fucking potato. Yo, compile a list. Let's ping everyone. And we're going to make an official drip list on the old server. We'll do DC first. That's what we're going to do. Yo. Yo, let's do it. Fuck it. Rohan says he thought he would talk about father figures. But, yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. You're kind of like bait and switch just there. Like, father figures, I got you, but, like, I can think a ton of people who aren't father figures who are, like, good people. Damn. Rip. All right, boys. I think we're done with this action now. Give me just a second. I think I'm going to update. I think I'm going to update this bad boy. Let's go back. Yo, let's see here. Lost Soul asks, do you ever think I'll have a kid? I don't know. Just kind of depends. Life happens. It is what it is, boys. I am just kind of existing and making it happen. And I'm living life. Hey, what's up, Johnny the Hottie? How's it going, bro? Yo, for those guys who don't know, man, I just got buried, boys. I just got buried over here. It's been low-key wild. It has low-key been mad. I got like at least 8 inches outside right now. It is low-key wild, boys. Oh, I'm gonna ask in chat because I think you guys are lagged behind me just a tad on the live stream. Teen Titans is anime inspired. So I think I'm just gonna chill with you guys. Yo, Helldivers or League? Yo, we are already getting some great suggestions downloaded. I am hyped for this. Yeah, this might actually be a genuinely good one. This might be a genuinely W situation. There we go. All right, fuck it, boys. We're playing Link while I answer your questions. Let's make it happen. Hit me with the memes, boys. Dude, Teen Titans, the animated series, was so good, man. That stuff really was god tier. I really wish we could get more content like that coming out in the modern day, because that stuff is just... I know some people really like the Go series. That shit is just like disrespect in my opinion. I couldn't handle it, man. I don't even like, I'm not even crazy about like the Teen Titans. Like, that's the thing that frustrates me, is like the Teen Titans TV show is what made me like the Teen Titans. Before that, the only reason I liked the Teen Titans is because Kyle Rayner hung out with them one time. No, not one time, a few times. I think he's like an honorary member of the Teen Titans. Because I think he's like already too old upon his origin story, if memory serves right. He's like a grown-ass man with like a fucking job. He's like a professional artist already. But damn, Cyborg did go hard though, boys. In that. Talk about the guy who made Cyborg relevant. No one gave a fuck about Cyborg before that show, dude. Literally nobody. Yo, Rohan asks, what's my opinion on Harley Quinn? Okay, that's a curious one. Harley Quinn's got an interesting place, is what I'll say. I think Harley Quinn is a positive character you can use. But I think Harley Quinn, unfortunately, the direction they're taking her isn't somewhere I like. Now, there's not to say there's not certain versions of that can work. Like, I know somebody earlier actually referenced the Harley Quinn TV show, which is hilarious. It's a funny as fuck series, but you just can't take it seriously. Like, you just genuinely can't take it seriously. Where is my band? Fuck you, Pike. Alright, let's see. Says Matt Pat doesn't cook. I don't think he was cooking in this latest stream, Awa. I really don't think he was cooking in this latest stream, Awa. Lost Soul says, I feel like as modern shows don't respect its audience, it's not mature. Older TV shows understood that kids don't want to be treated as such. Okay, yeah, I think I see what you're saying there. I agree. I think it's kind of unfortunate whenever they try to... I think it's kind of unfortunate whenever they try to do a lot of things with characters like that. I just hate the really dumb, stupid kid stereotype. Like, that pisses me off. Tropes like that are... Like, they exist, but they have to be written in believable ways. But when they're just, like, nothing but that, it kills me on the character. I hate that shit. And kids don't like to be treated like that. Kids like to be seen as someone who can be competent, right? Because those should be positive figures for them. Oh, finally, I got you rocking over here now. Sweet. My damn stream chat kicked off. You know, Harley Quinn's redemption usually fails in most mediums due to how awful she is as a person. Like, they treated Arkham Harley and tried to paint her off as a decent person.
I guess I agree to a certain extent, Lost Soul. I think the Harley stuff. I think that Warner Brothers has realized that she's really successful in the, or at least they think she is. Maybe she is. I don't know. I'm not seeing the numbers, but they think that Harley Quinn's really successful in that, like, I just broke up with Joker get up. I love Harley Quinn, but I love Harley Quinn for, like, the original version. I don't really like what she's turned into, unless it's like I said in Elseworld, where, like, you see Harley. I like that version of Harley. It's fun. It works with her in that. But even in that, sometimes it's cringe. Even in that, sometimes it's cringe. Rohan says, I just don't see the appeal of Harley Quinn, but does have some media outside of comics. For me, she just showed up why the Joker was impressive. I agree. I like her in that position, too. I think, I don't know, it just works for me. Bye, Pike. Harley Quinn just, there's a place for her, but whatever they're trying to do with her right now, where she's like a multiversal god, and like she suddenly scales to like everyone for some reason, and Death Battle still fucked up her Death Battle. Like, I don't know what the fuck they're doing with her. I don't know. I'm not enjoying it. That's for sure. Whatever it is, I'm not enjoying it. HQ has that crazy clown girl thing people are into. It really does kind of feel like that. Like they're just doing that crazy, oh my god kind of meme. Crazy girl. And it's like, okay. That can be done. I think Jinx is a good example of how to do that, but like they're running that shit into the ground where they want her to be insane but a hero. And it's like, bro, there's like 8 layers of why that doesn't work, alright? Please stop it. They really do gotta stop with that shit. Also, don't forget, boys, yo, hit me up in the Streamlabs donation if you guys get the chance, if you really want something popping off, or me to talk about, or maybe in a video to address, maybe once I'm out of this game of League. Anything towards the Streamlabs, boys. I'm trying to get that bad boy. Got 25 days left to make it happen. Every little bit helps. This should be pretty god tier. Pretty god tier here. They're trying to make Harley Quinn into a female Deadpool. Very true, very true. I don't know if I would say Deadpool, more like the Gwenpool. Ever since Gwenpool came around, like they've really tried to push that kind of idea. Very irritating. Very, very irritating in my opinion. Her redemption has to be on Vegeta level. Yeah. She has those redemptions, but like the problem is she's still like, they still want her to be that insane chick after the redemption. It's like, it's fun to be wacky and zany and shit, but like you can't perpetually do the I'm crazy shit. It just doesn't work that way, dude. You can't be running around with the Justice League and be like batshit insane. You literally can't do it. Also, is this my first time playing League on stream? I don't remember. Fuck, it might be. We're about to find out, boys. I definitely shouldn't be playing my last game for promos here solo, but fuck it, let's go. Hit me up with some more questions in chat too, boys. I'm just chilling. Hold up, I gotta check all these chats. I'm getting like 8 million of these things, man. Everybody's wanting to post. Everybody's got the drip fest to post over here. Okay. You know, the crew coming in solid.
Oh, man, Jobber posted Nightwing. He even posted a good Nightwing. Damn. He used to post fucking Space Jesus Nightwing from Dark Crisis, bro. I swear to God. Yo, they are pouring in, though. Everyone's got something to say about Drip inside DC. Let's go. Yo, we are gonna fucking shred his ass. Oh my god, the rest of the team fed into oblivion. Yep, and that's the Tarek one shot. Let's go. Favorite Dragon Ball transformation, asks Rohan. Bro, man, I'm telling you right now. Future Trunks, hands down. I fucking love Future Trunks. If you watch the history of Trunks, the movie for him, that shit hits so unbelievably hard, man. Like, so unbelievably hard. He gets Gohan, the only dude who survived from fucking anything. From anything, dude. And gets Gohan killed, bro. That shit is just so sad. He sits there screaming, bro, in such fucking pain and agony. That shit hurts. That, like, out of all those Super Saiyan transformations, that one hits the hardest for me. Like, oh, Krillin dying again? Oh, damn. But, like, bro, that was everything he had. Like, Trunks really did just lose fucking everything, man. Easy. Kick his ass. Kick his ass. Damn, Misfortune ran away. That's definitely what I would say, though, dude. It's not even close to me. Yeah, that one hit hard, bro. Yeah, I should probably pick up. Ultra Instinct actually was really god tier in the anime, too, I will admit. Like, really fucking god tier. The way they presented that in the Tournament of Power, I know everyone shits on like Super, but holy fuck, that shit was god tier. Metal Cooler was your favorite Dragon Ball villain? What's mine? Ooh, okay, that's a good question. Ooh, like out of any Dragon Ball villain? Great disconnection. Yo, that's a good ass question, man. I really don't know the answer to that. It really does depend on the kind of the era, in my opinion, because like there are some like Frieza in the Namek Saga. I would say 10 out of 10. Frieza, as time has gone on, has kind of been kind of like whatever. So I don't know if I'd say Frieza anymore. In terms of like extra villains and shit, probably Broly from like the old shit. Broly was just fucking god tier. That soundtrack was absolutely amazing. Yeah, it was good shit. Holy shit, that idiot caught me out so hard. Oh yeah, bro. Rohan says Broly hands down. Yeah, facts. Definitely a W though. Definitely a W though, boys. Trying to think of some other release, like Metal Cooler was really cool. I don't wanna deny that by any means. I like both of them with Cooler. Broly, as time went on, really was dog shit though. Like that, I'll 10 out of 10 agree with. Like Bio Broly and the rest of those movies, it was shit. How about Dragon Ball Heroes? I started watching Dragon Ball Heroes, and as time went on, that shit just basically became fan fiction, and was very unfortunate. So like that shit, they just started doing like the dumbest shit imaginable inside that. So I lost interest really quickly. Like it's cool. It just like Dragon Ball Heroes is cool. It just lacks all the heart that like Z has, right? Like I'm one of the guys who like often shits on like Dragon Ball, like the early days Dragon Ball for like the really cringe humor and shit. There is some level of flavor that needs to happen. Like with the characters. Like anybody saying otherwise, like I'm just not gonna agree with that. They just kind of feel like emotionless, like mega weebs at that point in time. Yo, Broly taking that comment. Broly just running the whole crew's fade was just god tier. Oof! Thought we had it there. Fuck. That shit did go real hard. There we go. Let me see if you guys are up to date. Yeah, I am. Fuck. Every once in a while I think my chat cuts out on me. It's very unfortunate. You know, favorite, dude, that should I just so every time I think about Dragon Ball, dude, now I just get so depressed, bro. That shit is the worst, man. Just think of unfortunate Toriyama. Wonder Woman needs a cartoon. My opinion on the manga? What about it? Which manga? Super right now? Is that what he's saying? Fuck. I think the Dragon Ball manga right now is... I'm really tired of the stupid weird shit they've been doing with like... I don't even know if it's the manga's fault or whether it's just this last arc sucked. Like so bad because it was just a remake of the movie arc. I like the manga more than I like the anime, I think. I think the plot lines in it are a little bit better. I'm a monkey with the brain individual. I mean, that's fair. I don't think there's anything... I think a lot of people go to watch... I think people go to watch Dragon Ball a lot for the fights, for sure. I mean, that is a big part about, like, Dragon Ball, right? Like, I'm not going to deny that. But, like, it feels kind of incomplete. In terms of, like, a full story. Like, that's what I'm saying whenever I said that earlier. Toriyama's final work coming out in autumn. Yeah, Daima. I think he wrote everything in Daima. They were just animating it. God damn it. How about doing X character feat videos, compilation of low tier, mid tier, high fives? I've thought about stuff like that. And my content has gotten a lot more relaxed, I think, in my more modern shit. And I think it's even showing.